Thank you all for joining us today. We are joined here by Cynthia Lee, our KW commercial community leader and general awesome woman who has fantastic taste in shoes, according to me and according to her. So
Don't look at my pale legs. Hold on, let me pull my pants down. They're the boots.
little pale, but it's January.
Little
So
pale.
slide. We're gonna let it slide. So today we're here to talk with Cynthia in regard to bringing either a commercial agent onto your team or into your market center. When's the right time? When is not the right time? What does this look like? What do we need to do? A lot of times we have team members that we want to bring on. We see an opportunity and we're like, yes, I'm going to bring on this commercial agent, even though I have not the faintest idea about commercial. And that's not always the right place for them. Sometimes it is the right opportunity for you to be getting your feet into the water on commercial. And sometimes it's just forming a commercial relationship with another agent. So Cynthia, I'm going to hand it over to you. So tell us a little bit about you, a little bit about KW Commercial, your role there, and we will jump into this conversation.
Okay, so I'll try to do it briefly because that could take a while if you just even ask what I do for a living. I think the easiest way is to divide it into 4 buckets or 4 hats, right? So I'm wearing 4 hats. So the base hat is I'm a broker, a licensed broker in commercial real estate. I practice retail tenant rep and I have a niche in franchising. So I put franchise tenants in shopping centers all across the country. So just think about major brands that you see, drive by, you probably use them, eat there, whatever it may be. I'm one of the ones who actually does the site selection for those brands. A lot of strategy that goes into it, a lot of data and analytics. So that's the first hat. So I still have that. And then the second hat is I'm the commercial director in my market center, which is in San Antonio, Texas. I've been here. I've been licensed for 13 years and I've collectively been with KW. I've got to get this number right. Maybe 10 years, I think. With KW, I was a residential agent part-time while I worked in television. That was my first career. And then I left KW to go learn commercial real estate at an institutional shop. Was there a couple of years, learned it, and went, I really love the KW culture and I want to go back and be a hybrid. So I came back to my market center. I was a hybrid, did residential and commercial, and then slowly got out of residential. But I do still keep a little bit of residential in my business. I have somebody that I co-broker a lot with. So that's still there. So I'm the commercial director in the market center. Then I'm the national executive leader for all of KW Commercial. And then the last hat is Alicia Shepard, who's my co-leader in KW Commercial. She and I realized, wow, we get along well. We do business really well together. Let's be business partners. And so we formed an expansion team for commercial and launched it just last year. And we also built a commercial vendor services platform. I think I'll equate it to Livian or Place, similar to those platforms. We did the first ever for commercial. We've been working on it for 2 years, slowly beta testing it and putting agents through it. And now this is the year that we're going full force, that you're going to start hearing a lot more about it. And Gary Keller has coached us through a lot of it, and Sajid Patel as well. So we thank them for that. So that's the short of it. Those are the 4
that's the
hats.
short of it.
That's the short of it.
You're not busy at all. You don't
not busy at all. But I'll tell you the secret to it. A lot of people say, how do you do what you do? You must never sleep. No, actually I do sleep, and I don't work on the weekends and I don't work at night. It's leverage. It's figuring out how do you add leverage into your business and still, make it work, right? It's following the models. And I'm going to be the first. I'm a very transparent person. So by the way, you can ask me anything. I will be honest with you. I've had plenty of ups and downs in my career because I like to blaze my own trail and just go, I got it. I can figure this out. I can make it happen. And I do make it happen. But then at some point when you want to scale or you hit a wall, then you're like, oh, maybe I should have followed a model, right? And so getting MAPS coaches was what changed my world and turned my whole business around. And then now I'm obviously doing an expansion team. So that's that. And then
we appreciate the shameless plug for MAPS coaching. So
I love MAPS coaching. And I got it. And again, another piece of transparency. I did not know. I was in KW as a resi agent, came back, and I wasn't leaned in at all back then. And I didn't even know what MAPS stood for. I didn't really understand what that was all about. And then Alicia Shepard's the one who she just literally walked up to me and she went, you need a MAPS coach. She said, you need a MAPS coach. She goes, I promise you it will change your world. And I'm like, I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, sounds like Alicia. And then she probably grabbed you and dragged you.
That's right.
Said, sign here.
Yep, she doesn't know that she had Maps call me. Like she just was like, "You're getting a coach. I don't care what you say." So Maps called, and I was like, "Okay, I guess I'm gonna be Maps client now." I'm telling you, changed my life. And I had two Maps
Perfect.
coaches for a long time, one for leadership and one for business. So anyway, love my Maps coaches. Yeah. KDB commercials. So here's the long and the short of it is, KDB commercial has been around for 15 years. So I don't know if any whoever's on the call. I mean, some of you, maybe you, Joe, I know that you run a market center. I don't know how long you've been in the system, for example, but if you've been around more than a hot second, then you might be thinking, well, yeah, KDB commercial, who are they? Oh, we have commercial in Keller Williams, because that's what it was for a long time. When Buddy Norman and Joe Williams launched it 15 years ago, Buddy came from a big institutional shop, Cushman and Wakefield, and Buddy was awesome. He's still involved, by the way, him and Joe involved in KDB commercial today. But he went around the country. It was a big grassroots effort, and excuse me, and did a great job building it, getting that foundation going. But then when Buddy retired from that position, really between Buddy and now, it was sort of kind of an up and down when it came to leadership. And then for about 2 years, there was no leader for KDB commercial. They had one person administratively attempting to hold it up. Crazy enough, we still were growing, right? So it was about 2.5 years ago that Gary Keller said, I really want to focus on commercial. Let's relaunch it. And I want to make sure that we do something different. And that's why he put 2 females in leadership, because he said, I know that this is typically a male dominated industry. So let's come out the gate saying we're different. So he put myself and Alicia Shepard in the role as the leaders of KDB commercial. And in the past 2.5 years, we have been tasked with and had to execute on very disruptive, I don't want to use the word things, but just disrupt a lot of disruptive things that we've been working on that no one else in the industry has been doing. So Gary said, let's not be like everybody else, but at the same time, I want you to solve a lot of the problems and fill those gaps that no other brokerage out there has had the courage to do, the bandwidth, or they've even put the thought into it. So Alicia and I sat down and we said, we're both practitioners. We know exactly what's missing in the industry. Education and training is one, right? Because there's always been that barrier to entry into commercial. Everyone's been like, how do you get in? How do you break in? You have to usually know somebody, right? And there is a barrier for sure. So we said, education and training, let's create this educational platform and funnel that nobody else has. So we did that. We got a new tech platform. So we put in all of these pieces that we've pretty much been doing on the DL, on the down
Quietly,
low, on
not
purpose.
very publicly, right? It's
Correct.
been
On
behind the
purpose.
scenes, but it's
That's
been
right.
done very quietly
Very
and
quiet.
strategically, which is why
Yep.
you guys are so well now, and the Keller commercial division is doing fantastic.
That's right. Because we said, when we met with Gary, I remember specifically telling him, I feel like we have 6 months to really get ahead of the competition. So we've got to try to move as quickly as possible in figuring out what the strategic plan looks like. And so I'll just say this, everybody has heard me 1,000 times mention 2024 is our year. 2024 is our year. And I'm here to tell you that we're just in January. 2024 is our year, because everything that we've been talking about and working on, it's now going to start going public, and we're going to start getting a lot more noisy. So here is the summary of what you need to know about KDB commercial. We are a powerhouse. So if you think it's just residential agents practicing commercial, that's not the case. We actually have rock star commercial agents. Largest deal in the United States for multifamily 2 years ago was a KDB commercial agent. Imagine this, a $402 million transaction, and they double-sided it. Oh, that gave me goosebumps. $402 million. Wow. Crazy. So we are huge. We're largest in number compared to everybody else. It's just nobody's known all these statistics. And so we are gathering all that. We've been gathering all that, and we're going to come out and we're going to be really loud. So if you're thinking about, I want to do commercial, or maybe I want to add a commercial person on my team, or I want to my market center, whatever that looks like, we now have all the models and systems in place to get that done.
So let's talk about that. We've got a lot coming down the line for 2024 with KW commercial, obviously. And let's say I'm an established team, right? Like I'm an established team, Rainmaker. We've got a good admin staff. We've got a couple of good residential agents, right? We don't have to be the biggest team in town, but we're established. And an opportunity comes up and it's, hey, there's some commercial deals that are coming my way. How do we break into that or get into a relationship with commercial if we're intrigued? What does that actually look like to bring commercial in to our existing residential business?
That's a great question. And this is one that actually has a lot of tentacles to it, because really at the root of it, Liz, is it's the market center. Okay. Remember, Keller Williams is an entrepreneurial organization. It's a franchise. So everybody's independently owned and operated. Every Keller Williams office can really ultimately choose how they want commercial to look in their market center. The problem has been over all these years is that there really haven't been any policies and guidelines in place that lay out the relationship between commercial and residential. And what does that look like? What does it look like when you do get a referral? You know, and what does it look like as a residential agent when you're starting to get these referrals, but there's nobody in your market center that you can pass that referral to, right? So we've had a lot of leakage. So there's been a lot of deals that have gone outside. I'm going to just tell you right now that if you are in that situation where your market center does not have a single commercial practitioner or somebody who's at least competent, right, who knows really what they're doing, the best thing to do is to reach out to KW Commercial, and we can connect you with an agent in the area or within the state. So we have a really good referral network, a national referral network in place that can handle deals in every single state in the country and across state lines. So don't ever, you at least start there and reach out to us before, you know, you send it off to somebody else. So here's the first thing that you want to do if you're going to go like step by step is number one, you need to understand what the guidelines are in your market center. So you need to ask the team leader, hey, what do we have any kind of policies in place related to commercial? So that's one, okay? And when I say policies, what I mean is, what does it look like if you get a referral or you get an opportunity or you want to join commercial, okay? In our market
Right, because the
center,
market center
yeah,
ultimately gets to dictate the policies regarding that. And they may have a policy that says, you're going to do a commercial deal, you've got to partner with a commercial based agent or
that's
be
right.
part of KW Commercial to have those resources. It's a complex, different division. Like it's a complex, different avenue of the business, right?
Yeah.
It's not your regular residential deal. It's a significantly more complex deal.
It's an apple and an orange. And I'll give this disclaimer or this warning, especially with leasing. I specialize in leasing. And so that's why it's easy for me to really speak to this. A lot of times we'll see residential agents say, oh, I can just get this commercial lease done. It's easy, right? It's easy to read the form or whatever it may be. Leasing is one of the most, I know libelous is not a word, but has a lot of hair on it. And there is a lot of liability involved in leasing. Just with clauses. So for example, if in your head you're thinking right now, yeah, oh, I did a lease or I was thinking about doing a lease, and you don't know what gross up means or base year or triple net, those things look really innocent when you just read a lease, but they actually are laced with tens of thousands of dollars in liability. And your client can easily default and get in a whole heap of trouble within just a few years. So you have to be really careful with that. I think what's easiest is if I just tell you kind of what our policies are in our market center that are the best practices and what typically will work, right? What works really well. So the first one is, this is how we handle it. I always, and I get approached with this all the time. So my policy is, if a residential agent or team comes to me and says, we got this commercial lead, I'll usually say, are you interested in commercial real estate? Would you like to learn commercial real estate? So that's really the first question is, do you really want to try it out? And if they say yes, I say, okay, here's the deal. I'm not going to make you join KW Commercial yet. What I'm going to suggest for liability and E&O purposes is we're going to partner you with a senior agent, a senior commercial agent that's going to co-broker the deal with you. And you're going to learn, you're going to get your feet wet there and just at least
See if
whet the
this is something
appetite.
that you actually want to go down the path of
Yes,
education, learning, investment, time.
yes, because it's expensive. Being in commercial real estate, it can be expensive. The fees can add up pretty quick, and it can take easily at the quickest deal that you might get done may take 6 months, but on average, it can take a year. It can sometimes take 2 years to get a deal done. So for an agent to really get into production, you've got to have a nest egg or be a hybrid like I was, where you have some sort of other income build up that business, right? So I don't ever tether an agent that says, I have this and I want to give it a shot. I don't say you got to join, you got to get co-star, you got to do all these things, because that's just setting them up for failure, right? It's let's do this, okay? And if it piques your interest and you start to feel a little bit of passion about it, then we'll take the step to get you into K2B commercial and put you through our education funnel. So that's how I handle it. But it's a one-off thing, right? It can't be the same agent coming to me now with 5 deals. Hey, I want to do 5 deals. It's one of those, it's a one-time thing. We'll let that go. We'll let you partner it, but you can't do it by yourself, because here's what happens is E&O is not going to likely cover it. So that's why you have to talk to your market center, because you have to first make sure the market center actually has the proper E&O policy. E&O is a lot more expensive when you have commercial being transacted in the
That's a
market
great
center.
aspect. I think
Mhm.
I wouldn't have thought of is this uncovered under the E&O policy for them to do this, right? Like
It's
that's
only if the market center
across
has
my
it.
question list.
Yep, the market center, and this is for all the leaders who might be listening in. If you want to have K2B commercial in your market center, you have to have a commercial addendum to the franchise agreement. And the regional director is who can let you know if you have that or if you don't. And then you have to have the proper E&O. And the E&O is usually a minimum of $2 million in coverage. Okay. So that's important, because if a residential agent transacts the commercial deal and does not partner with somebody in the commercial division, what do you think? And they get sued. What do you think E&O is going to say? Well, they're not on your roster, and you let this agent who has not been trained, didn't partner with anybody.
Malpractice.
That's right. And guess who ends up having to pay for that lawsuit? Who does it? It falls on the shoulders of the agent, because the market center is now out of the equation, right?
So,
It's scary.
so looking at this situation, so like, again, let's go back. Imagine I'm the team and this agent has approached me and said, hey, I really dig your team. I'm looking at partnering somebody with resources. I'm a commercial agent. I want to grow this bigger, and I see lots of future opportunity with you. And I'm intrigued by this. And then me as the team lead, I'm like, I'm intrigued by this too. I've wanted to get my toes into the water with commercial. This could be a good opportunity. Would you recommend, from that same standpoint, saying, as that commercial agent, when someone puts their toes in the water, saying, hey, you're going to partner with a professional full-time commercial, would you recommend that they partner on a deal to get their feet in the water like that, to say, hey, before we even see if this is a relationship that we're going to do, like, you want commercial in your business, partner on a deal and ride this 6, 10, 12-month train of commercial and really immerse in it to see if this is something that you want to bring into your business?
Absolutely. So I'll tell you this, I'm a risk taker in a lot of ways, but I'm not a risk taker when it comes to the liability aspect of it and also the relationship aspect, because let's think about it. It's like dating, right? You go on one date and it's amazing. But then as you date for a little bit longer, 6 months to a year, the other things start to come out and you're like, I'm not so sure about this person. So I like Liz's approach, which is what I always suggest to teams as well, is like, let's just partner with them on 1 or 2 deals, right? See how they perform and make sure that they perform to your standards. Because let's face it, residential agents are amazing when it comes to communication, okay? And systems or especially teams, man. Teams are, they can be a very well-oiled machine. Commercial agents are not there yet, right? And so their form or their line of communication might be different from yours. So you've got to make sure you lay out those expectations up front, that you expect these communication points, okay? Even if it's just between the commercial agent and the team lead. But see if you like that agent. And then this is my suggestion. I mean, you're welcome to bring a commercial agent into your team, add them into the team split, all that if you want. I'm all about what's the easy route and what has the least amount of hair on it, right? And that is just co-op marketing. So what I always recommend is pick your commercial agent, and I'll tell the residential teams, put me on your website. Put me on your website. You've got a commercial person. Doesn't mean I have to be on your quote team, right? But you can market me as if you have commercial in your business, because then everything funnels. It'll still funnel through you, and then it'll come to me. I do the deal and get it done. You're still involved. I'll still copy you on all the emails, so it looks like you're still there, right? And we get a deal done, and we just basically, whatever split we come up with, that's how we split it. So to me, that's the easiest way, is to just pick who you want, and then you agree that you're going to co-op market each other. And it goes both ways. That commercial agent needs to be asking the question to their commercial clients, can we help you with anything residentially? So, I mean,
I
Liz,
like the idea of the reciprocal relationship, right? Because frequently the opportunity to bring commercial or a completely separate division that our systems and our processes and our budget are not built for, bringing it on and bolting it on to a well-oiled machine, as you say, it's very disruptive and it doesn't always go great. And if we want to be in the commercial world and we want to be able to offer that to our clients, I love the idea of the co-market, as you're saying it, that to the client's appearance, it works,
I don't
right?
know.
It's the right answer. And
Yeah,
from a visual perspective, it's the right answer, but it saves us from binding and bogging down a lot of our systems that were not built for that, right? Like we're not
that's right.
throwing a wrench in to break the machine at that point.
Well, and the other thing too is then here, and again, my suggestion is find that commercial agent that you like. By the way, Eric Spritz, good to see you. They can help write content or interest generators for you to send out to your database. And I had this aha really the other week, and I can't believe it took me this long to figure this out, but especially since I was a residential agent, I'm always preaching to the residential agents, tap your database. You are sitting on a gold mine of commercial referrals. Think about it. The residential agents, you are representing the decision makers of all these commercial properties. So there is a really good chance that there are people and clients in your database that own or want to invest in commercial properties. But if you don't ask them, a lot of times they're not going to offer up that information because they're not thinking about it when you're with them, because you're talking about housing, right? And so I'm always sitting there saying, just tap your database, go reach out to them. And then I finally had the aha and I went, but then they don't know what they're going to say to the database, right? So I wrote a couple of interest generators that I gave out to some commercial agents, and I just said, hey, test this out in your market center. So we're actually beta testing it right now. But what I would say is that commercial, even if you decide you don't want to partner or co-op market with someone, that's okay. But still ask somebody commercially. They don't even have to be in your market center. They can be anywhere in Keller Williams. Ask, what's a good interest generator that I could send to my database today that could get me, some leads over the next few weeks.
Well, let's answer this question, Cynthia.
Yeah.
I'm the residential agent on this line today, and I go, okay, I'm digging Cynthia's aspect of I might not want to get into commercial, but I've got a couple of people that could be a commercial partner locally. Like I see this could work for me, but I don't know what to say to my database. And let's say I'm $100 million team, but I'm like, I don't know what to say to my database in order to generate commercial leads. What would I say to my database in order to do that?
So the easiest one is just to say that I want to introduce you to our new commercial person. So that's the first piece, is if you are going to co-op market with somebody, or at least for that first round, so you can just tell the agent, look, I'm going to just say that you're on, if you're good with this, I'm just going to say you're on my team. I mean, I'm always willing, use my name whenever you want. Say I'm on your team. I don't care, whatever it is. Just that, hey, we just want to let you know that we've just added a top commercial agent to our team. They have all these transactions. Here's what they specialize in, or whatever that may be. If you have any commercial needs, we can help you. So I think that's probably the first one that you want to do. And then wait a couple of weeks. And then your next one would be something more specific. I would do it, since we're coming up on February, I would absolutely do it related to taxes. So there are two things happening in commercial real estate right now that are top of mind for a lot of investors and anybody who owns commercial real estate. And that's one, their loans, a lot of these notes are coming due. And so a lot of these commercial owners are going to start dumping properties because their note is going to balloon,
Or
or
on balloons, yeah.
yes, exactly. It's going to balloon.
Balloons from those nice low interest
That's right.
rates of 2018,
That's
19,
right.
20.
That's exactly right. And so that is about to happen over the next 18 months. That's an easy one. So the interest generator would be something to the extent of, do you own a commercial property, where you have this note that it's about to come due, or are you going to have to dispose of this, asset or whatever it may be? We have the specialists who can help take care of that, or at least provide you an evaluation, right? Or something like that. Like, what is your property worth today? So that's an easy one. The other easy one, and this also applies to residential as well, residential investments, is a concept called cost segregation. Okay, it has to do with the depreciation of an asset. And in commercial real estate, a lot of property owners do not know what cost segregation is. And if they own a large portfolio or even just a large property in general, and they're not utilizing cost segregation, they're losing a lot of money. So it's a really big cost savings to them. You don't need to go learn about cost segregation. I'm certainly not an expert in it, but you can say, we have a commercial specialist who can talk to you, because then our people know we have a preferred vendor partner that does cost seg, and then you pass it to them, right? So it at least gets you in that chain, and it's a huge value add as well. And then you capture, the list of who owns commercial properties. So we have a lot of different options. We have a lot of different things that are going on, but I would say those are probably the top three I would go for right now. Is say, we just got a commercial person, taxes, and then also the notes coming due. Do you own a commercial
I think the
property?
notes aspect is huge because from a residential side, the balloons aren't that common, right? Like that's not super common in a balloon in a residential loan right now, because the rates were so good. People locked in at 15, 20, 30-year rates in 2018 through 2021, and they just don't think about it again.
Right.
But from that commercial aspect, a 3, 5, 10-year balloon is pretty standard, right?
That's right.
That's pretty normal, pretty standard out there. And they've probably, right, if they've got a good tax advisor, they've probably used a lot of that tax benefit up by this point. And now they have a note coming due, a balloon, and they're looking at significantly higher rates. Does it make sense to keep the same property if I'm not going to get some of those tax benefits?
That's right.
I love that one. I think that would, if I was putting my name on which one of those three I would choose, I would check that box. That would be me. I pull on the balloon rate. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
I love the idea of the co-market and partnering with somebody in that way. I don't know. I would want to bring on somebody in commercial that I want to be vested that much into.
Correct. It. Well, and I also just think too, from a budget standpoint, why not just test the waters first? I've always been the type to jump in head first. I think really head first.
Really, I could never see that in you, Cynthia. Never. So surprising.
Never. So now it's 1 foot. Does it follow a model? Does this make sense? What's the risk? What's the rate of return? So now all these questions go through me. And so that's why I always just try to counsel and advise that don't go just immediately grab somebody, test them out, do some of these interest generators and whatnot, and figure out what rhythm works for you. But now there's no real commitment. You know what I'm saying? It's just the commitment that you're going to help each other out and feed each other leads. It's another way to lead. It's again another way to lead generate. That commercial agent, you got to teach them how to lead gen for you.
Right? And it's mutually beneficial to both of you. It helps both of the businesses with the lowest amount of liability and strain to be put onto the systems and the mechanisms.
Yes. Yes.
We are down to our final minute. So at this point, right? Time flies. Having fun with KW Talent.
Yes.
It's my charming facilitation skills here, Cynthia.
You're amazing. It's your boots.
So what's your mic drop moment? If you were to leave anyone who watches this video with one thing, the one nugget about bringing commercial into their business or getting into commercial, like what's the mic drop for you? What would it be?
Take advantage now. I know that sounds a little bit lame, but here's the deal. And we all know this. We all go to family reunion, mega camp, all these classes where you're watching this webinar right now, but are you really going to take action? Right? I'm guilty of that too. I have pages of notes from a lot of seminars that I've been to. So that's why I'm going to say, make it happen now. Take advantage of it now. Actually go do this and test it out. Let me know. Send me an email. Say, hey, I watched you on KW Talent. I actually took your advice and I tapped my database with one of those interest generators, and you won't believe this, but I actually got 5 commercial leads out of it, and I passed them along and XYZ. Those are the stories I'd love to hear, and I would love to be able to repeat those stories to everybody else, all the other agents across the country, because this is how everybody wins, right? So I know it's not the most sexy mic drop moment, but it's at least a call to action that I would love to see.
One of the most profitable.
Yes.
That is
Yes,
one of the
everybody
most
wins.
profitable. Yes, everybody wins. I love it. Well, thank you, Cynthia. I appreciate your time today. I know you are a very busy woman with all of those hats you are wearing, and this was really beneficial for everybody. Thank you for those of you that were here, even those of you that were here a little bit early. I know Cynthia will see you two at Family Reunion in Vegas, and we will see you all on our next expert interview. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.